Bonjour! Alright, so this weekend I told you about how I was going to go to the Futuroscope, and we did go. And we went with Jade's older sister, who's just finished university, and then with about 7 of her friends, so it's kind of interesting being with a group of university-age students at an amusement park. We started by hopping the fence to get into the parking lot to pay, so we did pay. I mean, we all had tickets, but yeah, we hopped a big metal gate to start, which was, kind of stereotypical, I feel, of university students. And inside that amusement park, it's really high-techy and stuff. Like, there's rides that, there's one that's called Danse avec les robots, there's got songs, it's a ride, and you move around with the speed of the music, but it's a different song each time. There's a bunch of people, it's like this massive, dark room, sort of, but it's colorful, but it's cool. There's 3 levels, there's like level 1, 2, and 3, and I decided we were in the line, and I was like, oh, actually I won't do it, because I get really, really motion sick really easily, and I could see everyone, they were going upside down, and they were swinging around upside down, and I honestly would have had a massive headache for about 2 weeks if I put myself in that position. And then, but Jade was like, oh, okay, whatever, sort of, so I had to, we asked the worker lady what a level 1 was. Well, no, we asked if the level 1 you went upside down, and she said no. And so I did the level 1, and we didn't go upside down, but we sort of went, like, almost upside down for a while, and we were spinning, and it was super fun when it was happening. As soon as I got off, I sort of regretted it, but not really. I did have a little bit of a headache for the rest of the day, but I just sort of embraced it. I'm like, Kira, today you're going to have a headache. It's going to be a really awesome day, but you're going to have a headache. But it's okay. And most of the rides were like looking at screens and like moving with the, like I said, high tech, and all the buildings that the rides were in were like glass architecture, funky dome building things. It was cool. And it was actually right by my school, so I can see all the buildings from my school, so it was kind of neat to see, like, oh, this building was actually this ride, and now I can kind of, it's sort of like put a ride to the building, like put a name to the face. Anyway, so that was on Sunday, and that was a blast, but more than a blast, like a double blast. And, yeah, so Jade in English, they're talking about dreams, and both the, like, dreams for your future and dreams that you have when you're sleeping. And people, my closest friends back home, you'll know that for the past 3 months, I've had nightmares every single night. And it's not like the thing, I guess it could technically be the things I'm afraid of, but it's not like, oh, I'm terrified of, let's say spiders, which I'm not, and every single dream, there's spiders all over me and blah blah blah. I'm probably going to have a dream about spiders now. But anyway, it's not like that. For me, it's, for the past 3 months, someone has died or been seriously injured in every single one of my dreams. Like, in my dreams, I've committed suicide, I've been like a terrorist bomber person, I've been kidnapped, I've watched people die, I've heard people screaming from, falling to their death, I've been attacked by weird lake creature things, and every morning I wake up, and it's not like I'm, what did I just what did I just have to go through? And what I decided was that I was just really happy in my actual life, and that I needed to be unhappy somewhere, so technically like a third of my recent life, because I mean, let's say I spend 8 hours a day sleeping and 16 hours awake, so that makes 24 hours in a day, so I spend a third of my life dying, watching people die, getting destroyed, getting my brains drilled out. So for the last 4 days, and every morning, I remember that it was awful, every morning, but then I can't tell you every single dream, but it's been, I'd say, about 3 months, and I'm here now, and I'm still having them, because I'm still so happy in my real life. So, 4 days ago, I had a dream that I came back to Canada for an indoor soccer tournament, and I was gonna play like first string, and so I went upstairs this indoor building to change, but it took so long to change that I missed the game, which, I mean, that's not someone dying, but that was pretty sad. But then also I went on a vacation with my friend and her brother and her dad to somewhere in Africa. I feel like it was like Botswana. Yeah, it was Botswana, because I had read Botswana somewhere, so then I had a dream. Anyway, and we went on this safari, but then we had like an SUV, and then we got out of the SUV, and then bees like swarmed, but then the dad was like, oh yeah, they don't sting, but I was looking, and I'm terrified of bees, so that's sort of the nightmare that, anyway, but I was being stung everywhere, and I was swollen, and the dad wouldn't let me back into the car, like he wouldn't unlock the door, and finally I got in, but I like died in the seat because I was so swollen. I was like an obese fat, I took up the entire car practically because I was just swollen everywhere. So that was that dream. And then 3 days ago, I had a dream, and this one was a bit more, I felt like it was more real. And because it was with more people that I knew and who I'd met recently. So from OSEF, we were just, our group in Poitiers, where I am, we went on an exchange trip, 3 weeks to Australia, but I forgot my passport, and I forgot my passport by the time we got to the airport, and anyway, I didn't get to go. And then what ended up happening was I met with my friends, and we went like shopping sort of, but before we went shopping we had to put on these vests, and anyway, we went into the building, and all the people wearing vests, like, they were attacked by these ninja people, and everyone with the vests like exploded, like their brains exploded, but I didn't put on a vest, and so I remember thinking for a second, maybe I can save the day because nobody knows I'm not wearing a vest. But no, they like got to me in like half a second, they drilled my brain out, or they didn't, they like drilled into my brain and like pulled out goo. I was by like a picture, and I remember seeing in the reflection like pulling out goo out of my brain, and I died. But then afterwards I went shopping and nothing was in my size, so that's kind of like a girly nightmare. Like, they had extra small and then extra large in everything that I wanted, but then everything that I didn't want, they had like only like the more of like the middle sizes, and it was, oof, that was annoying. 2 nights ago, there wasn't really a death that I knew, but I went running in the forest with a friend, and she tripped and fell in like a blood water swamp, and then was really disappointed in me for letting her trip. And that we found a body right there, and we just had to keep running through the forest, and she kept tripping. She's not very coordinated, and she was covered in blood and came out of the forest. And then there was a murder investigation, and someone had seen us coming out of the forest covered in blood, so that was not good. That one also, I came back home early to see if anyone would notice, and nobody really cared that I had come back, so that was kind of disappointing. Not disappointing, but anyway. Okay, so last night, this one was scary also. I was cliff jumping, sort of. There was this girl who was like training to be an Olympic cliff jumper or something, and she was teaching me how to cliff jump, and she would jump from way high up, like Eiffel Tower high up, and I'm watching, I'm like, oh, you're gonna die. I'm not gonna get any more tips because you're about to die. She didn't die, but then I went, and I was attacked by lake people, because someone had said something about mermaids, or I read a Tumblr post about if you die in the water, what if you become a mermaid or whatever, and so there were all these like mer people that were slimy and alien and green, and they would attack you when you were underwater, but then if they'd already attacked you underwater but you got free, once you got to the surface, they would send like more off this like pirate ship, and they would just dump on you and like suffocate you. I don't remember if I died in that one or not. I got out of there because I got to go to another dream, and this one was, I was back in outdoor leadership from last year when we were sea kayaking, and we were supposed to get off the water to the land before we got to this waterfall, but then there was a group, and there were 4 people in a kayak. There was this group, and they didn't get off, and there was nothing we could do. They were going for the waterfall, and I just told the teacher, I'm like, you should do something, like they're about to go down the waterfall, and he looks at me, he's like, there's nothing we can do now, or whatever, and we have to watch them, and they're screaming their faces off. They're going down like a raging rapid waterfall, and you can see at the bottom, it's got like those movie cliff rock death rocks, and they go down, you can hear them screaming, and it's like, it's that piercing scream that you don't ever want to hear in your entire life, and I don't think I ever have, except for in my recent dreams, which is kind of upsetting, I guess. So yeah, I watched them die, and then we had to go to all their funerals, but since they, like, were torn apart at the bottom, they didn't have, like, a casket or anything. It was just, like, pictures of them and flowers, and there's all 4 of them, and we had to go, and everyone was crying. It was really sad, so that was that death. So, I sort of don't want my dreams to change, because that would mean that I'm still happy here and just in my conscious mind, which I feel like it's worth it because I face my fears. No, I'm not really, but so I guess I'm afraid of hurting people. There's many dreams where I'm hurting my family, like physically hurting my family, physically hurting my friends. And I guess that's a fear of mine, maybe. And I don't really mind if it means I'm actually happy in my real life. So if you want to analyze that or whatever in another way that I just did, go ahead and let me know what you came up with. Yeah, bye.